Well, hello everyone. This is Stacy and Dominique, and we're going to start. This is show number 2, and we're going to start today's show. And we're going to talk about body image. And I think we both decided to talk about this because we both experienced some things during the pandemic where I know for me, I started walking. There was a park right behind where I live, and I started walking and I just started walking and I was walking probably 5, 6 days a week. Didn't really realize how far I was walking or what I was doing. I'd never been a nature person. So I started looking at butterflies and rabbits, and the deers were all close to the walking trail because no one was out walking during that time because we were all on lockdown. So as I started going around friends or people started seeing me after the first vaccine, I felt like I traveled, I think, to Texas, and I'm wearing my clothes and they're like, you wear some cute clothes, but your clothes are too big. And I'm like, too big? And they're like, yeah, your clothes are too big. And I didn't notice that I lost a lot of weight because I was not walking to lose weight. I was walking to get away from what was going on, to try to clear my mind, to not think about all the deaths and everything that was going on with the virus. I was just walking and it made me feel good, but still I was wearing gym clothes. So I had no idea that I was losing so much weight. So I would go places, I'd have on pants, and people call Stacy, don't wear those anymore. They're like too big, like you shouldn't wear those, blah, 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 blah. And so it took me a minute to finally realize you have lost a lot of weight. But with that being said, I was still very insecure because people think being skinny is the thing to be. But I start feeling like something was wrong. Like, what's wrong with me? Am I sick? Is something going on? Because I lost so much weight and I wasn't trying to lose weight. And so my the whole thing is that you have to be good for you inside, like from the inside forward, not from the outside in. You have to take care of yourself from the inside out because if it's health wise, you know that you need to lose weight, fine. But you just always should make sure that whatever you're doing it because this is something you feel like you really want to do. But first, feel good on the inside of you because, like I said, I felt horrible hearing people say my clothes were too big. Like then I felt like, oh my God, all my clothes in my closet, they have to go because I can't wear any of this stuff anymore. Then I start putting it on and I start seeing how it's falling off me. And I just felt, like it's not the thing about just being skinny,
Yeah.
that makes you feel better either. So that's why I had to start figuring out it's about me feeling good about me inwardly and then bringing it to the outside. So that's my take right now on the body imaging. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, it's so funny because we both were talking about that we had similar stories during the pandemic. I also started walking because I was like, well, what am I gonna do now? I'm not working, and I realized I didn't really want to be drinking a lot, so I was like, well, I'll go for a walk, And then I started, I kind of like I started running, and I mean, the similar story. I was like, not, I was very much doing it to just kill the boredom and like have like just something to do, like a mental, it's a men's was a mental thing for me as well. And then I remember people were like posting like under my pictures and stuff on Instagram, like, oh, you lost a lot of weight, similar. And I was like, oh, really? I don't think so. Because I didn't feel like that. Because when you exactly wear stretchy leggings and whatever, you just don't feel like you don't notice it. And then it was so crazy because then I started looking at pictures and other old pictures, like, well, yeah, actually, yeah, I did lose weight. And then I finally got a scale because I wanted to know. And I stood on the scale and I was like down 37 pounds. So that's quite a bit of weight. And the crazy thing was, my whole entire life, people have always told me I was fat, no matter what weight I was, regardless if I was fat or not. They would tell me I was fat and I should probably lose weight. And I never, at some days I'd feel like, yeah, maybe I should, or maybe I shouldn't, because, you were kind of like, yeah, well, some days I was just like, yeah, this is the way I am. I feel like I'm sexy as hell and I didn't really care. So, and I was doing like my fashion blog, and I just never related like being attractive or sexy to have anything to do with my weight. So I felt like I had to get rid of that, because as a teenager, I was constantly told I was not attractive, especially living in the Netherlands, which the standard of beauty at the time, and it was skinny, tall, blonde with big boobs, which is not what I was. So I just accepted that I wasn't that. So it was okay with me. But like, I feel like, yeah, I didn't feel better about myself because I lost the weight. Actually, I felt more critical of myself, because then you'll see like little things. You're like, oh, well, my hips are a little bit, and it's like you start watching. If you're just hypocritical of the way you look, the weight is not going to change. It also doesn't click immediately when you lose the weight that you've actually lost the weight. People can say it, but if you don't feel it, when people say, oh my God, you look amazing, but if you don't feel amazing, it doesn't matter. So anybody can say whatever. I had to go through like a whole revolution of like accepting the way I looked, that it's fine no matter what weight that I have. Because what happens is you get into this like disordered eating patterns that you're like, oh, I lost weight, now I have to like be mindful of that, and I don't want to gain any more weight because people are now telling me I look great. So you're still letting that body image, get a like an external validation. And honestly, that's why I said, even if you want to lose weight for your health, for whatever reason, for vanity, whatever, that's up to you. I feel like that's personal empowerment and a personal decision. So there's no judgment on that. Right. But that's one thing I always tell people is like, losing weight is not necessarily going to make you happier or more attractive or anything if you don't feel it. So, and that's why I really like I like that there's this change, that there's like this inclusivity of like body image, and like you're seeing more and more diversity in like bodies on TV. Because I think that definitely would have helped for me growing up. Like I never felt it was enough. So, and I guess when I was like at my heaviest, I was just like, well, this is just the way I am. And I was fine. And then, but I said, when you go back into that and you get conscious of the weight loss, for me, I was like, well, oh, now I have to watch it. Now I have to think about everything. And I feel like that is so, there was for me was a huge freedom actually, and just accepting that I wasn't skinny. I thought that I mean, I could eat whatever I want. I drank whatever. I never thought about it, and it didn't bother me. And when I started becoming conscious of that, I had to be very mindful about not thinking that I need to do any kind of specific diet, because I wasn't doing that. That was like something that's also like, I was exercising, but I wasn't doing any kind of diet. But like, to also not fall into the trap, like, oh, people are telling me I look great, so I have to keep it that way. I can't change. So then you get caught in this loop of like can be very dangerous. So yeah, that's what I say, like body image is like so personal. But it's like, if people, like I used to be one of those people when I was younger thinking, oh, if I lost weight, I'd be happy. And I'm like, well, nope, not really. So it doesn't change anything. And and even if you lose weight, it's like your brain is still like at a slower pace to like understand what is happening to you anyways. And I think that there's also a like diet culture that is just super dangerous and like limiting like pleasure and joy of eating. And I think that that turns into like disordered eating. And I, as per my personal experience, is enjoy the foods that you enjoy. And since I actually, you know, even though I don't run as much as I used to, I still get my exercise. But once you kind of like accept yourself and you're like at a like, okay, I'm cool, you can really actually eat everything you want to eat if you intuitively eat it. That's my experience. And it doesn't really change your weight that much. You kind of stabilize. But that comes with an acceptance of that you're, yeah, being happy and loving yourself and having good body image. You cannot let that be validated by someone else, because if it's from external validation, you're never going to find it, because no matter how thin or how curvy or how hot you think you look, there's always going to be someone that's like, no, you're not it. So
I'm not gonna like it. Exactly. Yep. I had a friend, she was heavy, very.
Yeah.
And if she suffered with it, sometimes it was a personal thing, like with you. But when she stepped out of the house, she didn't show not one bit of insecurity about her. She was flirty and, you know, everybody, she drew people to her. I mean, she was really, really heavy, but you just could not tell that she even thought it or it bothered her or anything. And just like you said, you can look like $1 million, you think, when you leave, but somebody's gonna always say something about something.
Yeah.
So therefore you have to be okay with yourself. You can't, you know, fly to Mexico and go have all this stuff done, and then you get the wrong doctor and you end up with infections, or you might die. You may not even make it just because of what someone else is saying. You know, first you have to get healthy in your mind and inside of you. And then if it's something that's causing you to have health problems, or it's causing you to deteriorate in your health issues or something, then you might want to start working on that. But I say enjoy the foods you enjoy, but also know that you have to pull back. You know, you can't just eat the wrong things all the time.
True.
You know, you have to indulge yourself sometimes, and then you have to say, okay, I've eaten bread maybe for the last couple of days, then I'm not going to eat bread for the rest of the week.
Yeah.
I mean, we just have to do that. And the older you get, the harder it is to get the weight off. So you really have to be mindful of that. And also, it also causes health issues. So my thing is, don't kill yourself because of what you think society wants you to be. You know, take care of yourself because that's what you need to do.
Oh yeah, absolutely. But I also like, I think that it's like your health is like, you know, if you're healthy or not. Like I know a lot of people who are very thin, who obviously don't eat very well, and that doesn't necessarily mean they're healthy. Being thin is not necessarily that you're healthy. And being heavier doesn't mean you're necessarily unhealthy. So that's like definitely not like, you know, that's not my perspective, because even when I was heavier, I would all my blood work and they were like, wow, you're like super healthy. And I'm like, yeah, because like I said, enjoy the things that you enjoy. But if you do, like, I feel like this thing called intuitive eating to me works well. And there's like so many books about it, but I read this one book that I thought was really interesting, and it's called Women, Food, and God. And I really recommend actually all women kind of read it, because it talks about the relationships and toxic relationships people have with food, and like understanding that food is nourishment, and like, but we've given it so much power over us, and we've given so many labels, good, bad. Like the cake is not bad, but if you intuitively eat cake, you know that you don't want to eat cake every day, all day. That just is nonsense. Your body would just tell you like, okay, now's enough. And I feel like that is something that during the pandemic I started doing, is like, I just felt like listening to my body, like, what do I want to eat today? You know what? I'm in the mood for this. And 9 times out of 10, it will say something that's actually not even that bad. But if there's a cupcake, I'm going to have a cupcake. And you know what? I've had days I had 6 cupcakes, but I definitely did not want any more cupcakes for a while. But it happens. Just, I feel like that's where we need to like release that judgment that there's good and bad, and putting all these labels on food that just gives food power over you. And that's why I feel like so many people have struggled with so much with body image. And it's like, just because you had a Big Mac doesn't mean you're a bad person, doesn't mean you're a failure, it means you had a Big Mac.
Yeah.
That's it. And that's something that I feel like for me, I had to like through the years, because even when I was heavier, I still was mindful of like certain foods. I think actually when I was heavier, I didn't eat a lot of food that I was like, oh, I don't eat this, I don't eat that. I think I restricted myself in like very huge categories of foods that I was like, oh, I don't eat this. And I feel like it didn't just made me unhappy more than anything else. It definitely didn't help with like, body image or making me feel better. I feel like that's why I was like, say like remove those labels, because there's so much. Because if you look at all the diet culture out there now, there are so many diets. This is not good. This is good. And all of them are just saying, literally at this point, if you looked at every diet and you wrote down what you were allowed to have, it would probably be only like water and breathe air, because at some point everything, and then still it has to be the right water. It has to be filtered.
Oh, yeah. It always changes.
Which one? It's like, it's never ending. So I'm like, as I said, I follow a lot of wellness people on Instagram, which it doesn't trigger me or bother me, because I literally for me, I've been come so secure in what I think is important and very intuitive about what works for me. So I don't feel like I get too distracted. There's sometimes I'm like, oh, I would like to try that, because I feel like that's something that I feel called to do. But I'm like all these different, I was like, honestly, if you followed all these people, you would eat nothing and you wouldn't drink water, because there's tap water is not, tap water is better. No, you need to filter. No, you don't need to filter. You need this filter. It's like, when does it ever stop? So I just tell people listen to your body. When you're thirsty, when you need water, when to hydrate, when to go. You should be able to, but we've also gotten out of tune with that. That's why there's so much information. And eat a steak, don't eat a steak. You can't eat beef, is bad for you. And then,
they'll say pork is good for you. No, pork is bad for you.
Yes.
No, pork is good for you.
You should be a vegan. No, you shouldn't be a vegan.
No, vegan is bad for you. You should only eat
carb. You should only eat complex. No, you shouldn't eat any carb. You should blah. It's like, oh my God.
You go crazy. That's why you have to know what your body needs personally. Exactly. On a personal level, you have to know what your body. This is funny. When I went to Texas, and so my friends, they were looking at me and they were like, girl, you need to buy some more clothes, because you're so. I'm looking at myself and I'm like, man, what happened to my little butt? I didn't have but a little bit.
Yeah.
So then my friend is like, we're gonna have a spa day. She's like, I'm paying for us to have a spa day. Yeah. So I go in there and I'm like, I want a butt lift. So I go in and they put these like booby tubes on my butt. They look like tubes.
Yeah.
And they stick them on there, and the girl, they're sucking, but they are itching around the pull part.
Yeah.
And I'm dying. I'm laying up there going, oh shit.
This is so
I'm like,
funny.
how much longer is this gonna be?
Yeah.
And she's like, girl, you still got a while. I'm like, what about this itching? I'm thinking, am I gonna die? So I can't even imagine going to Mexico somewhere and having that surgery and having these tubes, because I was freaking out about that little suction cup thing that was burning the crap out of me. And then after I got it, I thought I was like, yeah, I got me a little butt. So I was like, how long is this gonna last? So now I'm killing my thighs doing with squats. So I'm doing squats like a fool.
Yeah.
because I'm trying to keep this fake, this pumped out booty that I got
Yeah.
now. Because they told me I could keep it by doing squats.
What?
But now I've injured my legs, I've injured my thigh, because I had a spring in it.
Oh.
Or muscle pull, because I'm trying to kill myself during squats. I lost the butt anyway. So, I mean, what's the point? I would have been better off going to the gym, learning some exercises, and kind of doing those from the beginning.
Yeah.
Instead of killing myself just trying to do that. So I can imagine what other people are doing, going and having these surgeries, squeezing their stomach to death, doing all this unhealthy stuff, which I believe is going to come back later on to bite you. You know, don't hurt yourself trying to be stuff that you're going to regret later on, or it's going to hurt you later on, or you're going to have some kind of health issues from it later on. We got a lot of people in the grave right now from doing just that. You know, take care of yourself, be happy with you, love yourself no matter how you look. Today, I was like, since we're doing body imaging, I'm not wearing any makeup, any lipstick, any eyeliner. And I got on and I noticed you pretty much did the same thing. And I was like, we both are kind of natural today. And I was like,
it's
it's a body image day. And I'm going natural because natural can be beautiful. You don't have to do all these things to be beautiful, you know?
Yeah,
So.
I totally agree with you. I feel like, I feel like that's what I said. So like plastic surgery is a personal choice. Personally, I'm terrified to go to the doctor that they're going to tell me that something's wrong with me. So I'm terrified to have anything put in me or like taken off or whatever. So, this is not for me. But it's not a judgment. If you feel like that's something that will literally really make legit happy, then please be safe. Go find the best doctor. Please stop trying to go all over the place with places that you have no idea if these people are actually who they say they are, as they can do what they can do, if it's safe. And please, I just feel like people really should be so careful with stuff like that. If you're going to do it, please
do it right.
Do it. Yes. Please be extremely careful and take care of yourself. And just know that a lot of the times that if your hang up really is about like the little belly you have and that you think that that's really going to change your life, I really recommend first trying to change your attitude about yourself. That's my idea personally. And then if it's really just that, okay, I mean, great. I mean, and some people really do lose 10 pounds and just feel amazing. And that was all that was missing for them. Great.
That's all they needed.
Some people really just, that little bit of Botox in between their eyebrows is what really worked for them. Then I'm like,
do it.
Okay, great. But really know, like, to me, my opinion is like, know that if you think that's going to make you happy, rich, whatever, maybe, but probably not. That's just what it is. Like, if you think that that's where it is, I'm going to guarantee you. And that's how the mindset shift is going to make the change, regardless if you have that. Because I can tell you from personal experience that my whole life, no matter what I look like, people told me I was too fat and I didn't look great. And now that I've lost weight, people were telling me I looked great. And I was looking at myself like, not really. So it really, and I thought like, whoa, maybe if I did lose that much weight, I was thinking like 20 pounds. So I lost way more than I thought wasn't going to be what made me happy. And it still was like, yeah, this is not, now it's not what I thought it was going to be. Really. So that's what I said. Like, if that really is just it, then do you, but like, please, if you're going to get surgery, please be very careful. Like, I don't, people, I'm hearing people like, and also if you're like 15, 16, relax. You have a lifetime to get surgery. And like, I mean, you have a lifetime to do that. So I'm never saying I'm not going to ever do, I don't know how I'll feel in 10 years. Probably not. I'll probably be terrified still to go. I'm like, I don't even want to go.
Have to do some changing because I don't want to, oh my God.
So I'm just saying, but if you're like so like young, it's like your body and your way you look changes so much. Like, and then, you know, it's just, there's like it to have your, why would you want to like change yourself? You're 15, you don't need, wait till you're a grown up and then see how you change. Because like, I feel like, you know, there, I can't imagine as a parent, I'm not a parent, but I can't imagine like saying your daughter, like, oh yeah, sure, I'll just, you're 15, I'm gonna let you go to some surgery. Like, I mean, I thought there was like a
Get bigger
documentary about
boobs.
girls who were like 15, 16 going to like Turkey and getting like completely, you know, a complete body makeover face. And it's just like, why, as parents, I'm like, why would you let your daughter do that? Why won't you take some time to talk to her about self-love and all of these things? And it's just, and social media definitely has something to do with it.
Oh, big
So,
time. The
I mean,
videos, you know, all the videos, all
yeah,
of, you know, the butts and the, you know, the
I,
boobs and the,
yeah,
you know, the way they exploit that stuff on the videos and social media is like, well, you know, people think that is the only way, you know, that's the only way they're gonna be pretty and they're gonna be liked and they're gonna be wanted and all this kind of stuff. But we all know that that doesn't make a relationship last. It does
no,
not make anyone want you. Because I
no,
know girls that are married and they got stomach, they got, you know, they're happily married with great men, you know, that love them for who
yes,
they are, you know. So you don't have to do these things like you think you do to get
yeah,
a man or to get a part in a movie or to get, you know, Hollywood or, you know, whatever they may make you feel that way.
yeah,
But you know how many girls go through there and they got all this stuff and they still don't have what they want, you know. So you mostly have to have um that self drive,
yeah,
you know, and determination, you know, and confidence in yourself most of all, you know, to make you achieve, you know. And sometimes we go after stuff and it's not meant for you to be that, it's meant for you to be something else, you know. Because I was always on the different scale from you. I was always skinny, I was always tiny, I was always little, I was always small. And you know, I'll always go somewhere and people would say you're so pretty and this and that, but I didn't feel that. I felt everybody else was, you know, I felt like everybody else was pretty. I'd always say, but you're pretty, you know. And I'd always look at other people and be like, oh, I think she's pretty, or she's pretty, or she's pretty. I didn't stare at myself in the mirror and just be like, oh, I never saw that. I never paid attention to that. You know, I didn't pay attention to myself until later in life. And I mean, much later in life, that I started to pay attention to myself and give myself the confidence that I needed, because I was always putting myself on the back burner, you know, like putting everything else before me and putting myself back.
yeah,
And I was like, you know, so all those things can be a major issue. You know, it's not all about, like you said, your body and how
sure.
you look and all that. So
Yeah, oh, absolutely.
yeah, that's
Yeah,
our segment today about
yeah.
the body imaging.
Yeah, so if you have anything else you want to say about body image, or you have like any kind of comments, or you have an opinion you want to share or question, then, you know, just leave something in the comments. If you like this video, give us a thumbs up. If you want to hear and
Subscribe.
follow us more, subscribe. That's right. And yeah, follow us on Instagram so you can kind of keep up to date with us. And we're also on Facebook. And we also have a podcast that's on Spotify and Apple Music. So if you want to listen to the audio, if you can't get away to look at the video. All right. So thank you guys. It was such a great episode.
See you
And
next
we'll see you next
time.
time. Bye,
Bye.
everyone.